Alright, welcome back to the channel, people. Today we have part 2 of last week's episode, so hopefully you enjoyed those commanders, because we got ourselves a repeat. If you like the content that we're pushing out here, why don't you do me a favor and go ahead and smack that like button, liking the content that we're pushing out here. Don't forget the Discord server where you can play spell table games, talk through deck building ideas, and just generally have a good community. It can be found in the description below, so join the server. Also we managed to hit 30 subscribers last week, so thank you all for showing support. I really appreciate that. However, I am noticing that a good amount of my viewers are not subscribed, so why don't you go ahead and smack that subscribe button. Don't be shy, join the channel, we'll have a good time. You can hop in some of the spell table games that we play and maybe be featured on the channel. With all of that out of the way, let me go ahead and get to the introduction of the commanders. Alright, starting us off, we have Kong playing Prosper, looking to exile cards, generate treasures from exiling those cards, and then using those treasures for effects. Then we have JB piloting Kambal. This Kambal deck is using an aristocrat strategy to sacrifice creatures and generate value by sacrificing those creatures. Then we have myself. I'll be playing Myrkul. Myrkul is looking to make problematic creatures stick on the battlefield by turning them into enchantments. And then lastly, we have Justify playing Light-Paws. This Light-Paws deck is trying to cast auras, then tutor for more auras using Light-Paws ability, and kill the table outright with commander damage. Now, you know what all the commanders do. Let's go ahead and take it to the table. Kong is going to start by playing Command Tower, casting Soul Ring, and using Soul Ring to cast Arcane Signet, becoming the enemy of the table immediately. JB is going to play a Swamp, and then cast Blood Chief Ascension, passing the turn over to me. I will play Windswept Heath, sacrificing it to go and get an Endata Triome, and I'll pass the turn from there. Justify is going to play a Plains, and then cast Esper Sentinel. And with that, he'll pass the turn over to Kong. Kong is going to cast Prosper because he has 1,000 mana. And he'll play Exotic Orchard as his land for turn, and then cast Viridian Longbow and end this turn by exiling a mountain. JB is going to play a Swamp, and then cast Talisman of Hierarchy. And from there, he'll cast Sensei's Divining Top. Then he'll activate Sensei's Divining Top ability to draw a card, putting Sensei's back on top of his library. He'll pass the turn to me. I'm going to play a Temple Garden tapped and pass the turn. Justify is going to play a Plains, cast Lotus Petal, and then he will cast Light-Paws. Out comes Light-Paws, commander number 2. From there, he will cast Detainment spell on Prosper, and using the Light-Paws ability, he will tutor for Mask of Law and Grace, giving Light-Paws protection from red and black. Kong is going to start his turn by casting Zorn, and then playing the Mountain from Prosper as his land for turn, making 2 treasure tokens. From there, he'll cast Dockside Extortionist, and then he'll generate 5 treasures, and then exile Malakir's Rebirth when passing his turn. JB is going to play a Marsh Flats, cracking it for Plains. And from there, he'll cast Cruel Celebrant. Then he'll cast Sensei's Divining Top, activating Top's ability to draw a card, putting the top back on top. After that, he'll pass the turn over to me. I'm going to play a Phyrexian Tower as my land, and from there I'll cast Chatterfang, Squirrel General. With that, I'll pass the turn. Justify is going to play a Plains, cast Unquestioned Authority and Lash Knife, targeting Light-Paws, and with the Light-Paws tutor, he'll get Ethereal Armor and Battle Mastery. From there, he's going to attack Kong with Light-Paws. It's an 8/8 Pro, Black, Red, and creatures plus double strike. So Kong is going to take 16 commander damage. Kong is going to start his turn by playing Malakir Mire as his land. And then he'll cast Commune with Lava, where X equals 5. He'll exile the top 5 cards of his library, and he can cast them until the end of his next turn. He'll then cast Phyrexian Reclamation from exile. And then he'll cast Dauthi Voidwalker. Then he'll cast Imperial Recruiter, and he will go in his library and tutor up a Marionette Master. From there, he's going to cast Kalain Reclusive Painter. It's going to come in with a treasure token, well, 2 treasure tokens thanks to Zorn. And then he will sacrifice most of his treasures to cast Marionette Master, and thanks to Kalain, Marionette Master is going to come in with 9 counters on it. From there, he'll move to combat and attack Justify for 5 damage. Moving to his end step. JB is going to draw for turn. Then he'll play a Witch's Cottage as his land. From there, he'll cast Sensei's Divining Top. Then he'll activate the top to look at the top 3 cards of the library and put them back in a specific order. After that, he will cast Kambal, Consult of Allocation. And there's commander number 3. Right now we have Kong and Justify looking like big problems, and I have one of the slowest starts I think I've ever had with Myrkul. So I'm going to start my turn by playing Vault of Champions as my land. From there, I'm going to cast Sky Shroud Claim. Going to go get a forest and an Overgrown Tomb. I'll shock that Overgrown Tomb in. And from there, I'll pass the turn. Justify is going to start by playing a Plains and casting Spirit of the Labyrinth. Then he'll cast All That Glitters, targeting Light-Paws, tutoring up for Felidar Umbra. Felidar Umbra is going to go on to Light-Paws, followed by All That Glitters. And then he's going to attack JB with an unblockable 21/21 double strike commander. That's going to go ahead and take JB out of the game. From there, he'll pass the turn over to Kong. He's going to play a mountain as his land for turn. Making 2 treasure tokens. From there, he's going to cast Hurl Through Hell, targeting Dockside Extortionist. He's going to exile Dockside, and he can cast Dockside. From there, he's going to go ahead and cast his Dockside Extortionist, and Justify's board is filled with enchantments, so he's going to go ahead and make 15 treasures. And because Marionette Master has 10 power, he's going to sacrifice his treasures and have 150 damage to sling at the table. And with that, Prosper is going to take the game. So it looks like Prosper had way too fast a start, and without interaction, he snowballed out of control and no one could deal with him. So that's going to wrap up the game for this week. How do you feel about Soul Ring and cards like Mana Crypt kind of polarizing the game in one player's favor? I typically find that when a player starts with Soul Ring or Mana Crypt and the table doesn't really do too much to interact with them, the game tends to end rather fast. Personally, I don't mind it because it means we can scoop up and play another game. But why don't you leave a comment, let me know how you feel about it. Don't forget to smack the like button. Let me know you enjoyed the content, and I'll catch you all at the next one.